This video is brought to you by America First Insight. Help support the growing conservative movement by becoming a member today. And if you want to support this channel, you can also use the code REAL when becoming a member. Thank you and enjoy the video. So as everyone probably knows, the state of New York has been a Democrat state for many years now. Hell, I think it's been like 30 or 40 years since a Republican won at the presidential level. It's been a very long time, and ever since the late 80s and early 90s, it's been a Democrat stronghold every single year. Yes, you had some Republicans here and there win a gubernatorial election. I understand that. But for the presidential level, it's been a safe Democrat state for decades. It's been D plus 20, D plus 25, plus 30, plus 15, plus 20 every single year. And it seemed like for a while, it was going to stay that way forever because, well, it's New York. It's not one of those states that Republicans win. It just isn't. But in the last 10 to 15 years, there's been a clear trend towards the GOP, especially post-2020. It seems like every single day, the state of New York is getting more and more Republican. And at this point, there is a non-zero chance that come 2026, next year, the Republican Party could actually win the New York governorship for the first time in decades. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but before we continue, guys, I need your help. I need you to like and share this video right now. If you enjoy the content, you want to support the channel, it's the best way to support it, by liking and sharing the video. And on top of that, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe right now. It's a great way to support the content as well. But enough of the promotional stuff. We got to talk about New York because I really believe it could actually flip in 2026. I know that sounds crazy, like that sounds ludicrous. It hasn't voted Republican in like 20 years or whatever at this level. For the presidential level, it's been like 40 years. So yeah, it's been a very long time since any Republican won the state. I'm not denying that. And in fact, I am not even saying that's a guarantee that Democrats lose the race. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But there was a brand new poll that dropped today from Coefficient, and they found the race within a point. Yeah, that's not a misquote. You did not mishear me. Coefficient, which they're not the best pollster, they're not perfect, but they're still a solid enough pollster where if they're polling something, they tend to be more accurate than not. The point is, they have Kathy Hochul, the Democrat governor of New York, up by only one. She's winning over Stefanik by only 1 point. And most importantly, she's only at 43%. As an incumbent, she's only at 43%, not 55% or whatever. No, she isn't even cracking 45%. Right now, she's at only 43%. That's bad. I don't care who you are. I'm not even saying it's a guarantee Democrats lose this race. The fact that Kathy Hochul is a Democrat and she's only at 43%, she's only up by 1%, that's not good. An incumbent, especially in a Democrat state like this, they should be at like 55% right now, not 40%, because you're the incumbent. You have incumbency. Everyone knows who Kathy Hochul is, and usually when an incumbent is doing this bad in the polling, that tends to be a sign of, oh crap, they're in trouble. They are in big trouble because they're polling so badly, especially in a Democrat state like New York, that a lot of voters, they're not supporting her. They're saying, hey, wait a minute, we have to take a step back. We gotta make sure we should support her or not. That's bad. The fact she's only at 43% right now against Stefanik, who I know Stefanik has some name recognition, I get that, but Hochul should be up by 10 points right now. She should be at the bare minimum, 48%. Like, that's worst case scenario, not 43% in the middle of May. And I know there's like, what, 16 months before the election, so a lot could happen. I'm not denying that. Again, I still think Kathy Hochul right now is a slight favorite. She has the incumbency as a Democrat state still, and it's gonna be, theoretically at least, it's gonna be a more Democrat environment than in 2022, at least on paper. On paper, it should be a more Democrat environment than 2022 or 2024. But at the same time, there are some signs to indicate that it may not be as Democrat as some people think, and Kathy Hochul could actually lose. I know that sounds crazy, but the state of New York has swung so Republican in the last 10 to 15 years, especially the last 5 years. Back in 2020, Joe Biden won the state by roughly 23%. In 2024, yeah, Harris won the state, but by only 12%. That's an 11-point shift in just 4 years. Just in 4 years, it shifted 11 points. That's bad. That's awful for Democrats. That's horrible for them. That's not what they need. But that's exactly what happened in 2024. And the same thing happened in 22. Has everyone just forgotten how bad Kathy Hochul really did in 22? Again, she won the state, but by only 7%. Not even 7, like 6.5%. It was awful. Lee Zeldin, who I know is a very strong candidate, he ran a good campaign, he got it within 7%. And you could argue that if he surged even earlier, he could have won. Yeah, I said that. His surge was actually fairly late. I know for the entire campaign, it was kind of close. It was within like 10 to 15 points. But in the last week or so of the election, Lee Zeldin had a surge. He had a last-second surge that got it way closer than it should have been. And if he had that surge a couple weeks earlier, he could have won. But it was just too late. But either way, Lee Zeldin did fantastic. He ran it up, got it within 7 points, and this was back in 2022. Ever since 2022, the state has gotten more and more Republican. Again, 2020, Biden won the state by 23. 2024, Harris won the state by only 12. Trump's getting more and more popular in the state, and Kathy Hochul is getting more unpopular. And on top of all of that, the Democrat primary could look like a disaster, which if somebody actually does run like Jamal Bowman or Richie Torres, yeah, they may not win. I don't think they will. But if they run, and they're going to run to the left of Hochul, it's going to force her to run to the left even more. Because you can't run the risk of all these progressives not voting for you and they don't vote for you in the general. That's the risk. So Kathy Hochul would be forced to run to the left if she wants to for sure win the primary, which would kill her in the general. You see the problem here? If there is a real primary, it would make things even worse. The Republican Party, meanwhile, if Stefanik runs, she's the nominee. I guarantee you that if she runs, which I think she will, President Trump will endorse her day one. And at that point, I don't see Michael Lawler jumping in. I guess he could. Lawler was my original pick, but at this point, just keep him in the house. Stefanik, it sounds like she's going to run, and if she runs and loses, it's not the end of the world because it's New York 21st she represents, a very Republican area. Michael Lawler isn't a swing district. It's a district that he won by, I think, 8 points, but Trump barely lost it. So, yeah, it would be nice to have Lawler run, but if you run him, you're probably losing that House seat. Which, considering how small our majority is right now, I think it would be best if we don't. I think we should probably just let Stefanik run. If she wins by some miracle, good. It sounds crazy, but I think she could actually pull off. She loses, okay, whatever, but more than likely, she would still do pretty good. Maybe not winning New York or whatever, but I could see her getting within 5 to 6 points. And I believe it's going to be fairly close, especially compared to 2024. Guys, just look at New Jersey. I know it's a different state, but if New Jersey's having such a big shift to the right, which it is after the election, the same thing is probably happening in New York. Guys, New Jersey and New York, if one swings heavy to the right, more than likely, both of them will. That's just those two states. So, if New Jersey's shifting big time to the right, which it is, voter registration confirms it, the same thing is happening in New York. Which makes sense. New York City turned into a dump. And a lot of people living there have had enough of the Democrat Party. I mean, when Democrats are saying, no, there's no problem here, New York City is actually clean, and anytime anyone suggests doing anything, the radicals that run that city say, no, we can't support it. This is insane. This is a MAGA agenda or some crap like that. Gee, I wonder why it's swinging heavy to the right. Guys, New York City is the most Republican trending part of the state. Yeah, I wonder why. It's as if the voters have had enough. They're saying, this is insane. This city has turned into a dump. We gotta clean it up. And we need a Republican to clean it up, because any other Democrat that you pick, they're just gonna either be insane or they could never win a primary. That's the Democrat Party in 2025. They either pick radicals, or the moderate candidates they do have, they can never win because their radical base would never allow it. So we'll see what happens, but the Republican Party, they're in a great situation. Despite how incompetent they can be, they could actually win New York. I can't believe I'm saying that, but they could actually pull off the upset in 2026 and maybe 2028. If things go very good, which that's another factor we gotta look into. How is the economy? Are we having mass deportations? Is Trump popular? If all of that's happening, what do Democrats have? If Trump is making stuff more affordable, if he's cleaning up the streets, if he's deporting everybody, if he's doing everything he said he was going to do, and it's popular, which the polling suggests his approval is going back up, how can Democrats recover from that? How? I don't know how they can. And when you look more into it, Democrats just have nothing to run on other than Orange Man bad. Their only Hail Mary is banking on the fact that there are a lot of Orange Man bad people in New York. There are. I think it's shrinking by the day, but there are a bunch of people in New York that are insane. They're the type of people to say 2 + 2 = 5 because Trump said 2 + 2 = 4. That's what we're talking about. That's not a joke, by the way. A lot of people, they think like that. But the problem for Dems is it enough? Maybe in a midterm, it could help them because it's lower turnout. A lot of Trump voters, they may not vote. But at the same time, if things are going well and Trump has a high approval, there's a chance they could still pull it off and these Trump voters vote. And if they vote, yeah, Stefanik can actually pull it off. If a lot of these Trump voters do vote, they can pull off the upset. And who knows, maybe the 1 or 2 advantages Democrats do have, which is fundraising, maybe they don't got that either. Just a little while ago, it got reported that Trump's team has raised $600 million for the midterms. Yeah, $600 million. And Democrats, meanwhile, they're raising nothing. They're raising nothing. Their entire fundraising apparatus is collapsing. And Trump, meanwhile, is breaking records. And I guarantee you that money will be spent everywhere. Because he's not going to run in 2028. So where's that money going? It's as if he's prepared to spend a bunch of money for 2026 to maybe expand the House majority, expand the Senate majority, and maybe pick off a governorship and say, New York. That's a lot of money. And if Democrats don't fix their fundraising issues now, they will literally have nothing. They won't have a fundraising advantage. They're getting killed on every single issue. They're unpopular. Trump probably is going to be more popular. Even the GOP, which, yeah, they're below water, but at least they're at like 40%. Democrats right now are at 21%. And with all the Biden stuff coming out, it may crack 10%. It may get that bad. It may crack 10 to 15% if things get really bad. So, yeah, the Democrat Party, I would say, they're not in a good situation whatsoever. But anything could happen. No one should get complacent. But the fact that we're even talking about New York as a state that could legitimately flip, not just in a, best case scenario, 1% chance, but no, a scenario that is actually kind of possible, it's crazy. Imagine saying that just 5 years ago. No, 3 years ago. Anyways, folks, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.